Hi, this is Kevin Trainer, and welcome to my tutorial for a part one of the coding assignment for um, the Zelle third edition Python book. And this is going to be pretty short because it's a very simple program. The first exercise you have to do is pretty simple. But I want to remind you that there's a previous tutorial to be played. It's called Python Plumbing, and it really explores where statements go in Python and how to put together a basic Python program. Things that we're not going to review in this tutorial. So please, if you haven't had an opportunity to play that, please play that first. Okay? So, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to, in preparation for exercise one, we are going to create a new Python program, and we're going to call it Goodbye Cruel World. So it's going to be called Goodbye Cruel World. We don't have to put on a .py because this box here where we say it's a Python file, that's going to force it to have the extension .py. Okay. And a question having to do with version control in Python, and so we'll try to answer that in a way that we won't get it over and over again. Okay, so you can see in the panel for the editor, I've got the new file, Goodbye World, and it's empty. So the first thing that we do in our class is we put a comment with the name of the file. In the old days, I think I used to do what Zelle does in his textbook, which is to, in the comments, say file colon and then the name of the file name. These days, I just put the file name. So the file name again is Goodbye Cruel World .py. Okay, and we want to toggle that into a comment. So we're on the line, and I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to do command slash. But if you're on a PC, you could do control slash and get the same effect. And then the comment we want on the second line is just an intentional statement about what the program intends to accomplish. And here's what I'm going to say. Print an arbitrary single line of output. Okay? And I'm going to toggle that into a comment as well. Okay? And that's all we're doing. Okay? The first thing we teach you to do in almost any programming language is how to print a line of output. It's very tangible. It's very easy to learn how to do. And so you start to learn about general programming constructs before you have to learn about the details of, oh, say arithmetic in the language or something like that. Okay. And the classic one that people have done for years is that they'll do hello world. Well, that's been beaten to death. Okay. So instead of printing hello world, we're going to print Goodbye Cruel World. And as you already know from the lecture and from playing the Python plumbing tutorial, in our class, we're going to follow the conventions that Zelle follows in his textbook for how to organize our programs. And our logic, at least the high level logic for our program, is going to be in a function called main. So we're going to skip two blank lines because that's what's indicated by the style guide. And we're going to say def main. That's how we define the main function. Empty parens, that's the argument list, but there aren't any arguments or parameters. That's the other name. Um, okay, and then a colon. So that says there's a code block under here, and code blocks are indented. So we're expecting a statement to be down here indented underneath. And we're going to print a statement. So print paren, and then we're going to in the parens we're going to put a parameter or argument, and it's just going to be a simple character string, and I'm going to put it in single quotes or apostrophes because that's the style that I think is in vogue with Python people in the know these days. So even though Zelle, I believe, uses the double quotes, I think that's a little bit old-fashioned for a Python person. You can certainly use either. And then my arbitrary line is going to be goodbye, comma, cruel world. So instead of being enthusiastic, it looks like we're about to jump. All right, so that's the whole thing there. And typically, you don't want to end a program where there's code on the last line. You always want to have a return. So it looks like there's a single blank line down there. Okay. And so I just want to explore a bit. Okay. As we explored in this Python plumbing, you can put your code into the function main. But all that does is to tell the Python interpreter, remember this code by the name main. It doesn't say run this code. So for instance, if we right click in the editor and say run goodbye cruel world, we'll get no output at all. Okay? And why is that? Well, we told it to remember the code in main, but we never told it to run the code in main. So we're always going to have down at the bottom. So we're going to have two blank lines surrounding the function main because that's what it says to do in the PEP8 style guide. Okay. And we're just going to have an invocation to main. And that's it. And then we're always going to have a return. Okay, it's always going to end with a zero length blank line. Okay, and as you can see, I don't have any flagged errors. Okay, so I don't have any red underlines. I don't have any light gray underlines. It's interesting. If you look in the upper right corner, you can see there's this little box. Well, it turned into a check mark. So it says, analysis completed, no problems found. Okay, so if we had warnings or errors in this upper right-hand corner, that's where we go. If we have an error, there'll be a red box up there. If we have a warning, there'll be a gray box up there. Okay, so I think this is the code that we want. Let's run it. So I'm going to right click. Oh, I'm not going to run it again the same way because as soon as you run it the first time by right clicking in the editor and choosing run, you have this Python console down here for goodbye cruel world. And anytime you want to rerun it, you just have to go down and click on the green triangle run button. And now it says goodbye cruel world. And that's it. So we printed an arbitrary single line of output. Okay. We organized the program with a main. Okay. In the short run, main's going to hold all of our code. Okay. As we learn to create more complex programs, though, uh, main is going to call other functions. I think we probably don't get there till chapter 6, to tell you the truth. But um, so once we have other functions, the fact that our top level one is called main is going to make a lot of sense. But so we put our code into main, we have a call to main, we have the two blank lines before the function main, the two blank lines after. The only line that is in the clear, as I say, is the call to main. It's the last line in the program. And we always end the program with a zero length blank line. And probably good, in addition to scanning the text, to look for these squiggly underlines that say you have an error. Probably also good to look in the upper right hand corner and see what it's telling us, and it says no problems. And again, if we run it, goodbye cruel world, just what we wanted. So it's that simple. Your arbitrary single line of output is a different one, but other than that, we're essentially doing the same thing. Your program file is going to have a different name, so that's going to be different. But the exercise that you're going to do is going to be very, very similar to what we just did. So I'm going to say bye until next time. Bye-bye.